the meeting number 447 of the Mobile Airport Authority to order. This meeting is titled both board meeting and board retreat. Chair will entertain an approval of previous minutes of previous meetings. There's a motion and a second on the floor to approve minutes of previous meetings. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is the chairman's report and comments. In a minute, I'm going to ask Chris Curry to join me, and we will give sort of a joint report presentation. For quite a number of years, it's been my privilege, honor, to serve as chairman of this board. I can unequivocally say we got a really good board, a working board, a board that continues to improve the manner in which it conducts its business, a board that has accepted the great challenge of moving our airport from West Mobile to downtown Mobile, a board that has created quite a bit of momentum in that regard, a board that has mandated and seen to it that our board and our staff represents a good cross-section of our community. In today's parlance, vernacular, diversity on our board and in our staff, and I'm very proud of that. Obviously, we got a lot to crow about, and I'll crow a minute. We have received the support of the mayor from day one. He manifested that support not too many months ago with a presentation to the City Council, who also supported with their action some funding, some substantial funding for this movement, this airport move program. And we're very appreciative of that. We've received positive comments and support from the governor's office in our request for the state's participation in helping to fund this program. Stay tuned. They're very positive. They understand the need. They understand that this is going to help the great transformation that this city currently is undergoing, and it will put it on turbocharge. We recently, I think it was last week, it might have been week before last, received great news from the county, and we owe a debt of gratitude and a big thank you to the county for their support of our program. $1 million a year for 5 years, plus $10 million in pay-as-you-go funds. And as Chris Curry said, that's wonderful. It's fantastic, and we'll be back to ask for more. So we appreciate the county's participation and endorsement of our program. Rest assured, for all of those bodies, we'll justify their confidence with our performance. We'll get this airport built, and it will work, and it will transform the city. Last but not least, of course, is our congressional support. And so we do have the support and the heart of Jerry Carl, our congressman. He's very interested. We do have the support of Senator Tommy Tuberville. And boy, howdy, do we have the support of Senator Richard Shelby. This state's blessed to have him. Certainly hope his successor and other successors are given the time and ability and office in the United States Senate to build the tenure to bring home the bacon like Senator Shelby does. He's been there quite a while. He understands how important it is. Thus far, at a minimum, the senator has been the catalyst for the federal provision of $162 million for this project. Stay tuned. So we got a lot to crow about. We have in our last meeting authorized a contract, and it is in place and being pursued, being facilitated. It was a $14+ million contract to provide us with 60%, of the engineering work, so we can see where we are, what we got, what we're going to do, what it might cost. Now, in today's world, understand this: nobody knows what this thing's going to cost, but it's going to get built, and it's going to get built well, and it's going to perform its function for generations. So we're well on the way, right? We did good work. Today and in a minute, we'll talk about a concept, just for fun, just for the excitement of it. We'll look at a picture or two. And over the course of this retreat, we'll talk about the enabling contract, the design project contracts to get started on getting this thing built. I want to take this opportunity to say, and I was remiss, I didn't welcome our guests. I'm going to do that. If I can read this handwriting. So Matt Anderson with the city, I didn't see, hey Matt, with Melissa Horton with Jesco, Mark Timbrook. Mark, who are you with? FSB. Did you write this? Lee Lewis with Avcon. All right, Tyler with Fox 10. Where's Tyler? Over there somewhere? Okay, I can't read your last name, I'm sorry. And Guy with Fox 10. Foster Veazey with HPM, and Larry with HPM. Of course, Ms. Prince, who actually, I keep saying this, we need a separate category. She's not really a guest anymore. She's going to be held accountable for anything that goes wrong here. Hank Eubanks with Volkert, Joe Jernigan with DFS, Cliff Lambert. Okay, Cliff. Who are you with? Thank you. And Richie with Thompson Engineering. Thank you for coming. Now I want you, please, to pay close attention to this. Today, and over the course of this 2-day retreat, we're going to consider this contract or set of contracts. I'm not sure that these are them. These are, I think, just day-to-day business of the airport. But we'll get to those contracts as well. But this is the point I want to make. And I want it to indelibly stick in your mind and be the prism through which you approach this project, and it's the prism through which I'm going to ask the board to look at these design projects. In this process, which was FAA mandated and FAA structured, the teams that competed for to be the winning team made a lot of promises, made a lot of assurances. So not only am I talking about on-time, quality, communicative representation and performance of your job, But I want to reemphasize one thing more than anything, and that's the DBE portion, okay? So the standards we set were 15%, right? Is that right? Minimum, okay? I don't care whether they said minimum or not. That's a minimum number. I'm going to look to you guys to make an effort in every manner to beat that number, 15%. It's important. The construct of your staff and subs has to represent a cross-section of this community, just like our staff does and just like our board does. I'm not going to forget that, and I'm not going to not pay attention to it. I am going to remember that, and I'm going to hold you to it. You don't want to be that guy that has that meeting with me, okay? Now, let me tell you something else. What you presented to us, to our committee, this committee worked hard. They made difficult decisions. They awarded points based on subcategories of these presentations, and it was difficult. All of the presentations were pretty good. 4 out of 5 were better than one other one. 1 out of 5 was better than the rest. So don't even think about changing what you said you were going to do and the manner in which you were going to do it, because I'm not going to let it happen. And I've had this conversation with our president, and I've had this conversation with our contracted guardian, guiding light, and the team that's going to really help get it done, Horror Project Management and Larry. We're going to make sure this happens. You're going to do what you said you're going to do. And I haven't really discussed this point with Alvin, but if the contract doesn't allow me to run you off for not doing it, it'll be changed before we sign it. And if you can't live with that, now's the time to say never mind. Okay? So, with that, and listen, the demonstrative nature of my admonition shouldn't take away from the excitement of where we are, right? And I don't want it to. There's no reason in the world that your actions shouldn't, and your work performance shouldn't live up to what you said you were going to do. And our crew's going to live up to what we said we were going to do. Okay? But we got something to celebrate here. So this little airport move was, and still is, the subject of quite a bit of press coverage in America today. So the Review and Outlook column of the Wall Street Journal, the editorial column of the Wall Street Journal, the Review and Outlook, an opinion column, and the editorial column of the Washington Post, the New York Times, the LA Times, Chicago Tribune. Now look, make no mistake about it, they're not really talking about the airport, they're talking about the senator and his ability to deliver to the people of Alabama. But he delivered to us, and now the world knows that. That should really help us, right? Because this airport's not a secret. So yes, this airport will transform the city. So Chris, well, let me close by saying this. I always say this, and if it's ever not the case, I'll say it, but our staff is really good. Chris leads a great staff. He does a great job. We're running 3 airports right now. We're building a 4th. We got a lot going on. Our staff does a great job. and the board appreciates it. Understand this, though, the same admonition. Keep doing that great job. We ain't got time for mess-ups. We got a building to build, or a few, okay? We got to take care of our customers, take care of our airlines, take care of our taxpayers, take care of each other. So, Chris, and thank you for the job well done, guys. Chris, if you would, can you start your report? Well, first, I'm getting ahead of my, any questions of me?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to say thank you to Izzy. You might notice that you don't have a glare coming in this morning. All of these windows have been treated to help with our visuals, particularly with the screen and such.
I did not notice that, and I really like it. And it'll be very beneficial not only to us and our machinations in our meetings, but to the future low-cost carrier passengers that are going to be sitting in this room flying out of this building. They'll be a little cooler and a little less glare. Thank you, Mr. Bonilla. So, anything else? Chris, I'd like to, if you would, as you start your report, conduct some important business, and also maybe we can have some fun and show a couple of renderings. Can we do that?
Sounds good. Good morning. As the chairman has stated, the staff, the team has been working real hard towards the build out of this new terminal complex. As such, we do have some concepts available for the public to see today, and you'll be the first to get a chance to see them. When I saw them, I was very excited. You know, there's something about a visual that makes people truly believe that the terminal will be built here. As much as we've talked about it over the last couple of years, people still come to me and say, is this really going to happen? Well, it is, and I think that the visual kind of puts everything into perspective. So, Mr. Chairman, with your permission, I'd like to unveil a couple concepts.
Okay, I want to be clear. The board hadn't really collectively seen this or talked about it, but it's a concept that our design team wants us to vet, and we wanted to share it at this point with the community. It's a good looking design. and go, an ample size terminal facility for our growth, but not oversized. And that is evident in the master plan, and this reflects, what the master plan sort of called for.
And let me add, the initial, this is the full build out, which is a 12-gate facility, but the initial build out is to build what we need, which I think is about maybe 5 gates to initially start, and then you have the opportunity to expand on both sides.
Hopefully, the acceptance and growth of the airport will allow us to add these wings on quickly. But the initial building will well service our needs. And so that's where it is.
Let me add one other thing, Elliot. One of the things that you can see in this photo is we still plan to keep this building as a low-cost terminal in the foreseeable future. And so even though we may only build out to 5 gates in the new terminal, we still have capacity that could be provided by this facility today.
Okay, so
So for the press sake, if you want to take some closer pictures later, we'll have them available for you. I'd like to sort of segue into the President's report. The state of the Mobile Airport Authority is very good. We're starting to see positive trends from the labor force, and we're starting to fill some of our vacancies. As is well documented, we're working hard to meet the airport terminal completion date, fall of 2024. I won't spend too much of my time in the President's report commenting on the terminal schedule and design, since there will be an update provided later on the agenda from HPM. Our progressive design build team is fully engaged, and we have the concept that was available for you today. You will also see a resolution, and Mr. Chair, if I may ask, could we go sort of out of the alignment of the agenda to talk about the resolution to change the name of the airport?
sure.
So before the board is a resolution to change the name of the Mobile Downtown Airport. And the name that has been suggested is the Mobile International Airport. The reason that we feel it's time to change the name, at least from the international standpoint, is because we really want to advertise to the international community where we're going. So if you have a business that's located outside of the country, possibly looking to relocate to the Gulf Coast, if an international airport is important to them, our current name would not allow us to be part of that conversation. But from a planning standpoint, strategic standpoint, if they understand that we'll have a new international airport available in 2 years, we could easily be part of that planning process. So that's why we've decided to take this initiative today to suggest a name change that would include international in our name for that purpose.
Mr. Chair, I move that we adopt the resolution to change the name of this airport to Mobile International Airport.
The motion on the floor, is there a second? Motion and a second to adopt the resolution changing the name of the airport here at what is known as Brookley Field to the Mobile International Airport. Is there any discussion of the motion on the floor?
Mr. Chair, I just echo Chris's comments, the President's comments, that it's important as we're recruiting both commercially and industrial. And the improvements we're making here, it's important that we make that change now. We will have the full functionality of an international airport with the construction of the new terminal. And Chris, we will be really in a league of our own in that sense in this area. Would you speak to that?
Yes. So as the Vice Chair mentioned, you have many airports throughout the country that have international in their name, but they do not function as a fully international airport that can process cargo and passengers. The facility that we will build and complete in 2024 will have the ability to fully process cargo and also passengers. So that will make us different than some of the airports that are located close to our vicinity. The other piece I'd like to mention is Brookley will not be lost forever. Our 3-letter identifier is BFM, and it stays BFM because Brookley Field Mobile. So even though the name will change for some that really associate with Brookley, that'll still be within the framework of the airport's identification.
Thank you. I'll just add the final piece that, important for everybody to know, this international component, while extremely important for commercial aviation, is equally as important for our airflex, in our industrial partners and our future industrial partners. And so it's a big day for us. Thank you, President.
Any further comment? I'll expand upon what James said. You know, it's quiet in here. Maybe it's early. Maybe we should have brought some champagne out for this. Well, I guess coffee will have to suffice for now. But this is a big deal. We've never had an international airport in Mobile. We've never even had, until this board came along, the possibility of that. Never had the notion that we were going to move this airport to this great site, work hand in glove with the state and the federal government and the port and our airlines to provide premium air service to the constituents of this area, and also a great adjunct to the port and them to us for the business side of things. So make no mistake about it, is it going to transform the city? Yes. Is it good for the lifestyle of the citizens of this area? Yes. But all that money that is generated by the port and the airport contributes to that. Jobs, new companies, new opportunities, lifestyle. That's what this is all about. This is an exciting minute where we waited and waited until we were assured we're going to be able to get this done, had the support of all constituents and governmental bodies that I mentioned earlier before we stepped out and took the risk of saying, we're not Mobile Regional Airport here, we're Mobile International Airport, right? In order to have the stature, you got to take the posture. And we're taking the posture right now. We're Mobile International Airport, and we'll have that stature in the eyes of the people we want to see it, our citizens and our businesses, and the people looking at Mobile to come here and prosper and enjoy life. So that's my comment. Is there any further comment?
Can I just make one more comment? I think not only do I wholeheartedly agree with what you guys are saying, it'll transform our city, allow us to capture Baldwin County and the other surrounding areas, and we're good for all of that. It'll enhance our commercial ability as a city and as a region. Totally agree with all of that. But the other thing that I think is really impactful is not only will we make this the Congressional Airport, but we'll do it almost debt-free or debt-free completely, which is kind of music to my ears at the end of the day. I think that is a noteworthy accomplishment.
Certainly our goal, and we've been relatively good thus far in chasing our goal and capturing it. So good points. All in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye. 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 Congratulations.
Okay, so I'll just continue through the President's report. And as the Chair mentioned, last week I appeared before the county to thank them for investing $15 million in the airport project. The Airport Authority and Coastal Alabama College are continuing to move forward with the build of a new aviation training facility at the Mobile International Airport. The purpose of the facility is to train aircraft mechanics and eventually expand to a flight school. The airport also sponsored a DBE MBE training class, a two-day session provided by Kenneth Whedon and Associates for most employees that have exposure in this area. We also invited staff from the City of Mobile, Mobile County, Greater Mobile Chamber of Commerce, along with some members of the Progressive Design Build team. In order to receive federal funding, the airport is responsible for the administration and reporting to the Federal Aviation Administration. We're happy to have Paula Minikin back to Mobile for her second visit. Minikin and Associates were hired to help the Mobile Airport Authority improve our governance process, and Paula will be on the schedule for tomorrow. As part of our annual retreat as well, we welcome Mr. Espy, who will be here tomorrow to provide ethics training for the members of the board and executive staff. I would also like to inform the board that I have finally completed the requirements to graduate from Leadership Alabama. It was a great program, and I was able to learn and make connections with many leaders throughout the state. Due to COVID, our claim to fame is that our class took the longest amount of time to graduate. The program normally lasts a year, and my class entered the program in 2019. So with that, I will conclude the President's report.
I guess drinks are on Mr. Curry. Chris, within your purview as we are now conducting our meetings is the finance report.
Yes.
And so could you lead that discussion, please?
Yes. So next, I'd like to brief you guys on the financial report for January, February 2022, and Anita is here to help me answer any questions that you may have at the end. The financial details for our 4 business units were sent to you in advance. Overall, our financial state is great. Airline recovery is progressing. Typically, January and February are the slowest months of travel because people have returned to work and school following the holidays. It has been great to see the return of mainline aircraft service to the Mobile Regional Airport. As I have reviewed their schedule, Delta has populated their schedule with Boeing 737-800s, 160-seat aircraft that generally comes in the evening and departs in the morning, and also the Boeing 717, which is 110-seat throughout the day. Enplanements for January 2022 were 16,753. In January of 2021, they were 11,437. In February 2022, enplanements were 18,022. In February 2021, they were 10,747. Enplanements year over year for January are over 47%, and February year over year over 68%. So you can see from these numbers that the passenger service piece is starting to come back, although the leisure market is coming back quicker than the business market. And because we are a business market, we lag a little bit behind the recovery of the leisure market. Detailed revenue and expenses are included on your financial statements. They were provided to you earlier. Revenue is lower than budgeted for MOB, however, the other departments are over budget. The budget for MOB was based on 22,000 per month enplanements, and as you can see, we did not quite reach that goal for either month, but I would say outside of any unexpected turmoil in the industry, I think we may start gaining passenger numbers that will then exceed 22,000 over the next few months. Building and land revenue continued to increase with the reversion of expired leases and the increase in demand for property. St. Elmo had a net income February of $5,401. However, it was at a loss initially for that month because of the purchase of fuel. So we've purchased the fuel was higher than we budgeted. However, those fuel costs will exceed budget over time. The finance department has continued training on the new ERP system called MIP, which will be the first system that will produce